Happy Friday, guys, and welcome to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. Andrew McGinnis and Carmine Bianco here with you to break down the games on tap today. Look at some sides, totals, props, the ladder challenge with Carmine, of course, best bets at the end, and all kinds of great promotional stuff to get into. It's a smaller slate here on a Friday, but we like these games. We'll try and make some money for you guys and hopefully start the weekend on a really good note tonight. Just the two of us here today, Carm. Always nice to end off the week. How are you?
I'm good. The car started this morning without the boom noise, so that's always a positive. Yeah, we're talking Vancouver, Carolina today, Montreal, Washington. I had to put your Montreal Canadiens on there because they've got that rookie goalie in goal who's been stellar thus far. We're going to finish it off with the your playlist, prop playlist: LA Kings, Winnipeg Jets, and finish it off with the ladder challenge, some best bets, and hopefully the 6 and 60, of course, and hopefully send everybody out with some winners tonight and on the weekend. Last week's 6 and 60 went 3, 2, and 1, so not great because I always aim for like at least 4 and 2. Andrew, 4 and 2, 5 and 1, 6 and 0 is very tough. It's just about as tough as going 0 and 6, but those happen as well too. Um, Listen, before I get to this, this isn't another one of my beatdowns on the Toronto Maple Leafs because I did say on the show yesterday I thought they were live at plus 145, but I go with a friend of mine, Joe, who you've met, and we go to Arizona's, which is a really cool sports bar, restaurant right by the airport. And there's a ton of Leaf fans there watching the game, and the Leafs get out to a 2-0 lead, Andrew. And I was pretty happy about it. These guys are chest bumping. Who chest bumps in like 2025? Is that still a thing? Like
The
chest
regular
bumping?
season. In the regular
Um,
season, too.
yeah, I would suffer an upper body injury if I was chest bumping in game 41 of the NHL season. 2-0. They're chest bumping, celebrating. Final score 6-3 for Carolina. And Andrew, um, the number one line for the Leafs, Matthews, Marner, and Nyes were minus 17. Minus 17 for their top line. Craig Berube is not going to be happy about that one. They got the Canucks coming in tomorrow night, so we'll see if that makes the 6 and 60. But he can't be happy about that performance at all. But with that
No.
said, man, we're talking Carolina minus 165 tonight, plus 140 on Vancouver. It looks like it's going to be Tokarski for Carolina tonight because Kochetkov started yesterday. He didn't look good early on, but Tarkovsky, 3 of his last 4 starts, Andrew, he's 3 and 1. He's only had 4 starts. 3 of them have gone over the total, so I'm kind of leaning there with this one. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Carm, you talked about it yesterday on the show. The goaltending situation right now is a little bit problematic for the Carolina Hurricanes. It's an issue. It seems like it's always been an issue. Like I said yesterday on the show, over the past few years here, they've had good defense. They've had 200-foot forwards, but they've just dealt with more goalie injuries than I've ever really heard of a team dealing with, which can be really tough when you've got different guys, different names in the net. Look, Tokarski's a good goalie in the AHL. He's a great AHL goalie, I'd probably say. I don't think he's NHL caliber. I remember when I was younger, actually, he was in the Montreal Canadiens system. And when Carey Price got hurt, which it just pains me to think back to, and then their backup got hurt as well, which I think was Yaroslav Halak, Dustin Tokarski had to start a playoff game for the Montreal Canadiens. So I kind of like this guy, just what I've seen from him when I was younger, but he's never really elevated to an NHL goaltender. And so this is a guy that I kind of want to look to go against here. And Carm, with the story you just told about those guys at the bar and how disappointing and the minuses we saw from those Maple Leaf top players, and luckily I gave out Matthews actually to get a goal on PuckTime yesterday, and he did get a goal despite that really bad night for his line. I think this is a really big game for the Vancouver Canucks. You know it's going to be really tough tomorrow. And I just think that this is a really good spot that they're going to have to show up for. This is a nice plus price we're going to get. Things have been up and down for this Canucks team, but I also think they've been on a really, they've been on the wrong side of a lot of games, but they haven't been getting blown out. Like when this Canucks team loses, they're losing in overtime or a shootout, or they lose in very tight ways. So they've been in games. They're struggling a little bit to find consistency, but they've been right there with every single team they play, whether it's a good team, bad team, team, non-playoff team. So shop around for the best number. Before the show went live, I did see a plus 140 out there for the Vancouver Canucks. I got to ask you this, Carm. I like the dog in this one. What do you think the price is here on Carolina if it's not a second half of a back-to-back? Because I know we got a different goaltender in here. That's certainly part of the price. But if this is the number we're seeing here on Carolina, because the number has only gotten bigger a little bit here than the number we're seeing on the screen, what's the number in this game if this isn't a second half of a back-to-back? Because I just think we're getting a pretty good bargain here with the Canucks.
Yeah, I think if this wasn't a back-to-back for Carolina, we probably see, and it's Kochekov, who's the better of the two goalies, obviously, for these two, that we likely see Carolina is in the minus 180 range. They're at 165 right now. That's where I think the line would pretty much be. And I went back and I was looking at when Carolina was in Vancouver earlier this season, and they were a favorite there, a smaller favorite, but they're obviously a bigger favorite here at home. It's a second of a back-to-back. And we talked about that zigzag thing. The zigzag continues with this, and it's not a betting angle in the sense of you look at it and you see a team alternating wins with losses, and you just jump on what is supposed to follow next. That is not. That's like the martingale system. It's not a betting one. It's one that will take you to the poorhouse real quickly. But I think it has to do with the fact it's a little lower here. It has to do with it is like the second of a back-to-back. It is Tokarski in goal tonight. But this Canes team, when I talked about their scheduling, and I thought their scheduling, they had to get by the couple tough games against Tampa and Toronto, end up splitting those two. And I thought their schedule to close out January is one in which they're going to get a lot more wins and then losses. I don't want to touch them here in this game just because it's a second of a back-to-back. I don't want to leave $1.65. Do I hope they win? Sure I do. I like the over, Andrew, and it's just because Vancouver's coming to town, and we saw what they did against Washington. They lost a game in which they probably deserved to win, but Logan Thompson stood on his head in that one. Vancouver generated 4.7 xG in that game against Washington. That tells you how good Logan Thompson was in that one. And that's in all situations, not 5-on-5, all situations, including power plays. Like I mentioned, these two teams, I think 3 of their last 5 games have their last 5 games have all been 1-goal games between these two. 3 of the 5 have been 4-3, including the Canes 4-3 win, I think, in OT in Vancouver. Here's your pizza slice bet, Andrew. 4-3 Vancouver pays 30-1 plus 3,000. 4-3 Canes pays 25-1. So instead of you going to Tim Hortons or Starbucks after the show, take that $4, split it into $2 on each one, and you're either going to cash 60 or 50 if this game is 3-3 and goes to OT. How's that sound, Andrew? A couple pizza slice bets for you.
That sounds about right. It sounds about right to me because, like I said, this Vancouver team, nothing has been easy for them lately, Carm. Nothing has been easy for them, and I can't see them. If I like them as a dog, we know it's still going to be a tight game. It's going to be close. I like it. I like those two. And look, I don't know if I'm eating the same kind of pizza you're eating with some of the pizza bets I've seen you lock in, but I think it's a good bet. And some of these exact scores, they're good to look at when you're dealing with defensive teams like Carolina. And, some of these total, I find the exact scores are way easier to deal with a lower total versus if you see, like, let's say we had a 7 on the board. It's way harder to bet an exact score when you see a 7 because who the hell knows what the score is going to be, and that is going to be just super high scoring either way, right? So, I'll get behind it.
Speaking of getting behind it, Andrew, the Montreal Canadiens plus 180 tonight, and you're a Canadiens fan. It's minus 220 on Washington. It's showing Thompson is expected for Washington, but it's showing How do you pronounce his name? Is it Dubes? Dobes?
It's so he's actually he's Czech. It's Dobish. So yeah, with the
Dobish.
sh sound at the end, Jakub Dobish.
Okay, so I'll give my thoughts quickly on this one because they're simple. If it's Logan Thompson in goal tonight for Washington, and we already know Montreal's goalie's confirmed, I'm going to take the under. He was fantastic in a 4-0 win against Florida. And then he has another win, I think 2-1. I can't remember who that came out. It was
Colorado.
against Colorado. Against Colorado. Those are two teams that score goals. Those are two teams that play 200-foot games. And the Canadiens, whether they rallied around this goalie or and, he made some very good saves as well too. One goal allowed in 2 games against those two teams. And now they're in Washington tonight, and this Washington team can score. I think they average over 3.5 goals per game scored this season. But still, the Canadiens are always they're that thorn in my back, Andrew. Each and every time I go against them, they somehow bite me in the ass, kind of like Pittsburgh did last night in the ladder challenge. I'm going to take the under 6. I'm not going to back it up with any other data than to say that I believe the Canadiens will play well in front of their goalie. So we'll see what happens tonight. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's exciting. As a fan, like seeing this team gather some wins together. That Eastern Conference wildcard race is crazy, Carm. Like right now, Columbus in a playoff spot. Now all of a sudden, Ottawa's lost, I think, 5 of their last 6 or something like that. So they've dipped a little bit, and you've got Pittsburgh right there in the mix. Detroit's won 5 in a row. Montreal was in a playoff spot for about 24 hours, and now they've dropped out of a spot. So it's really interesting looking at this Eastern Conference race. Every single matchup matters. The funny thing is, though, is that Montreal has a back-to-back here. They pretty much played Monday. They get the whole week off, and then they play here Friday on the road, and they travel back at home tomorrow to play a home game. So it is kind of interesting because when you look at some of these spots for Montreal lately, it's been real tough for them because although they had the rust, like tomorrow when they play at home, it's going to be more of a better spot for their opponent. On Monday, when they played at home versus Vancouver, they were probably the more traveled team than Vancouver were, even though it was a home game for Montreal. So this game is really crucial. And what I really like, Carm, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, the management of the goaltending. And so Marty St. Louis he did this the first time that Dobish started. He didn't do it the second time. But so this is the front half of a back-to-back. So he said, you know what, Montembeault, we're going to give you the team when they're tired tomorrow, and we're going to let Dobish have the team when they're rested. Because sometimes a coach will say, we want to try and win this one. We'll put our number 1 in for the first game, and then we'll throw the backup in for when the team is tired. He said, forget about that. We'll give the backup the well-rested team tonight, and, Montembeault will take care of things tomorrow. And as a fan, it's exciting to see us have a backup again. I hate to say it for Primo, but he had just lost all confidence, and I knew that once Montembeault started all 10 starts in the month of December and the back-to-back on the Friday and Saturday before Christmas against Detroit. So he's played extremely well. It's hard to play much better than he's already played. So a lot of people are probably going to be looking for regression, Carm. I'm going to take it a different approach, but similar to you as well. I like Washington team total under 3.5. I've taken so many team total overs lately, and that's kind of been something I've kind of built a brand around these days with just picking one team. What I want to start doing more on the show is isolating one team to go under on their team total. Because if you like the under on the game, you got to pick one team. And, of course, with Washington being the size favorites that they are, I'm able to get a pretty good price here. It's minus 120 both ways. You go over 3.5, you go under 3.5. Montreal, of course, would be 2.5 for their numbers mostly. So I think that, first of all, Washington could very well still win this game by only scoring 3 goals. But if they don't win the game, I think Montreal keeps them to 3 or fewer goals. So I like the number I'm getting, and as much as it'll pain me to say it, the good news is if Washington still could win the game, and I still come out on top as long as they don't reach that 4-goal mark. So Washington team total under 3.5, minus 120 for me. We're both on the same page here. We're both betting on the Canadiens' young goalie to be a stud once again tonight. I'm throwing it back to you with this, Carm. I'm curious your thoughts about how the Habs are managing this, because as a fan, and I don't hide it, you know I'm a fan, I actually kind of like it. They're going with the young guy in the first half of the back-to-back.
Yeah, and it's a couple different scenarios tonight as far as when you talk about like, yeah, I think protecting goalies if management and the team feels that he's going to be one of their goalies of the future. I think at least for the first season, you put him in spots where hopefully you put him in tonight's might not be one of them, but in spots in which you're kind of protecting him. You play well in front of him, and it's all about that the confidence on the ice. They string some wins together, or even very tight losses, and they start comfortable in goal, and it takes on a life of its own. You talked about, and I've talked about Askarov from San Jose, and it's a similar thing. He's playing extremely well, but they're going to put him in, and they're protecting him. And so they're on back to backs. The Sharks are, but they're starting him tomorrow. They're supposed to be starting him tomorrow instead of starting him tonight in Utah. And it looks like it's going to be Georgiev in goal tonight. We talk about Georgiev a little later on in that in the challenge. But I think that's the best thing on home ice, where the fans, with every save, with every big play, are going to cheer him on in San Jose. They do have a fan base there. That's how you protect the goalie. So we'll see with Montreal tonight. I like the team total under that you have, even though it's a Washington that is averaging 3.66 goals per game this season, and this is why they're at the top of the Eastern standings. Great energy on that team, but a team like Montreal can stifle you at times. They don't do it for 82 games a season, but sometimes just show up, and you're like, you can tell from the opening 20 minutes, ooh, the tough one, and that's
Yeah.
your Habs. But let's see if the Habs made your playlist today. Andrew, give us some winners there, and you've got one on there that is going to make somebody in our chat very happy. So let's hear your.
Yeah, Carmen, we kept the streak going yesterday. I mentioned on this show it was going to be a few plays, and then I ended up just really liking this one play, so I stuck to it, and that was the Avalanche. So we're off another winning day yesterday, guys, and still only a few days remain with that promo code PUCK50 if you want to join me in the NHL, guys. Number one regular season, number one with 5% plays. You can get that get that package $50 off with promo code PUCK50 at WagerTalk.com, PUCK50. Join me for 30 days of my NHL plays, guys, and it should be a really good weekend in the NHL. All right, Carm teased it. We got not just one guy, but multiple guys now commenting, when is Lucas Raymond going to get some love in the prop market with the Detroit Red Wings on the prop segment? Well, today's the day here. They're playing against Chicago. I think it's a really good spot for Raymond here. And I always am searching for value. We're always searching for plus money. And I'll tell you what, his price to get a point, and this is part of the reason why I haven't been mentioning him much lately, is minus 230. I'm not giving out a guy minus 230 to get a point right now. I'm not doing it. But he has 5 straight power play point at home, and the number is plus 180. This Detroit power play is playing extremely well. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They're playing well during this run. Chicago's coming off a win against Colorado. They're going to feel good about themselves, but then reality will set in when they start playing how they're usually playing, which is not very good defensively. We'll take Raymond to get a point, plus 180 on the power play as one of our bets here on the prop playbook segment. The next one, yes, Carm, I did have a Montreal Canadian player make the cut today for the prop segment. We're going to go with Nick Suzuki from the Canadiens to record an assist here in 6 of his last 7 games versus the Washington Capitals. He has an assist. And, again, we're turning a minus price on the point, getting specific here with the plus 110 with the assist. He's coming off that overtime game winner over the Vancouver Canucks. But of course, he's always out there on the power play, setting up his teammates, setting up Cole Caulfield, setting up Kirby Dach, setting up some of these guys. And of course, he does play on the number one line. So, Carm, when I can get a guy that's around minus 170 on a point to specifically plus 110 to get an assist, I got to jump all over that. So we got 2 plus money props. Yesterday, it was a 2-in-1 day with the prop bets, which I really liked here. Trying to get on a run, and hopefully we can head into the weekend on a really good note. And yesterday, giving out 2 goal-scoring props, Matthews and Gensel, you only have to hit 1 to come out in the green, and that's exactly what we did. So obviously you want to hit them all, but that is the best part about when you play these plus money plays. So I'll send it back to you, Carm, and hopefully these props come through.
Andrew, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to rewatch this show for your discussions on the prop bets because Nebraska, who's always in our chat, I was talking about pizza, and he said to look up Pizza Man in Detroit next week. Johnny Detroit, if you're anywhere near the chat, let us know if you've gone to this place. I just got onto the guy's Instagram. Man, that pizza looks so good. Unbelievable. The pictures of pizza. Apparently, it's a very popular place. And I love places and businesses and people who pay it forward. Guy, from what I right now, does work to try and help like the autistic as well too. So and donating money. So that's another great reason to go. I've got to go to Detroit and try the Pizza Man, Freddie there and stuff. You can't. It's walk-in only. But anyways, speaking of walk-in only, Andrew, I'll walk into this one with Winnipeg minus 120, Kings plus 100 on this. Very thin line on this one, and I expect the line will probably go up once the goalies are confirmed, because Winnipeg's on a back-to-back. So and they got called tomorrow. I would think it would be Comrie tonight, but they're showing Hellebuck in goal. I would think you would Hellebuck in goal against Colorado, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. The total here sits at 5.5. It could get to 6 if it's Comrie in goal. I'm leaning under, even though a lot of games have had some goals in them, Andrew. The LA Kings are playing some very good hockey right now and some very good defense. On the road, despite their record, their last 8 games, the under is hit 6 of 8 times, 6-1-1 to the under their last 8 games at home. So I'm looking for another affair here. LA Kings 2-1 or Winnipeg 2-1. That would sound great. Give me the under 5.5. What are your thoughts?
Carm, this is awesome. This is like back-to-back games where you and I are both on the same page, but I'm trying out my new strategy here, and I'm just picking one team. So it kind of works out here. Look, we talk about rest versus rust. I think it's important to mention, of course, with Los Angeles not playing the most recent scheduled game due to the wildfires, which is extremely, extremely tragic. They have not played a game since last Saturday. And so we talk about rust and rest versus rust. You know, is it a good thing for Los Angeles or is it a bad thing? They haven't played in that long. And I know they're a little bit of an older team, so maybe it's a good thing for them to have that rust, but they've been playing so well, and now they haven't played a game since last Saturday. I think they might come out a little bit flat here, and Winnipeg will be fired up on a Friday night at home. I think team total under 2.5 at even money is the best way to go in this game here. So we both like the under 2.5 for one team here with the Kings. And you know, Carm, when you look at the Kings team total, the Jets team total, it's over 3.5 at plus 150. And I always say my favorite range for the over on team totals is plus 100 to plus 125. Once it gets higher than that, the books are kind of telling you, hey, they might win the game with only 3 goals. So then I go to the other team and I take their team total under. And that's what I'm doing here tonight. Los Angeles Kings under 2.5 team total, plus 100, plus 105, and you're still getting that nice plus money. You and I are hoping for an under in that one, so hopefully a little more of a low-scoring contest here. But you have a game to get going on the ladder challenge, and I like this play you have selected here, Carm. What do you have for us?
So what I'm going to do, Andrew, I'm going to throw a ball here. I'm going to because the ladder challenge is also my show best bet. Uh, I am going to do the 6 in 60. Hopefully, Dan, you're okay with that. Producer Dan, if you are, put the little 60 on top of the screen, which we know should really be like a 90 because it had done in 60 seconds. You good, Dan? All right. Let's fire away. All right. 6 in 60. Seattle and Buffs 5-2-1 since their break-team game losing streak. A big win today in Ottawa, a solid win. Sabres money line. Edmonton, Chicago. Oilers laid an egg last night in Pittsburgh in the first period, and they lost at Chicago. A little bit of a revenge, and they get Chicago on a second of a back-to-back puck line on the Edmonton Oilers. Vancouver and Toronto. Vancouver is on the second of a back-to-back and third in 4 nights. Leafs 17-7 at home and off a loss to the Canes. Toronto money line. Washington and Nashville. Preds on 3 days rest after that long road trip, captured in 4 nights in second of a back-to-back money line. Islanders and Utah. Isles off a solid win in Vegas, and Utah on a back-to-back and 1 in 9 their last 10 at home. Give me the Isles money line. Colorado and Winnipeg. We're taking the under here. 2 games so far this year, 1-0 and 5-2. 2 empty netters in that 5-2 gamer. That was another under. We'll take the under, and that's your 6 and 60.
Boom. At the buzzer, Carm. I like it.
I beat it. I did it. 60 seconds. Round of applause. Pizzas for everyone.
You sold yourself
maybe
short
not pizzas for everyone. But
you didn't even trust yourself. You didn't even think you could do it. You said you would need 90 seconds, but you got the job done. So
yeah,
that didn't even matter. You're good. You're good.
It was a tough one, but I'll segue, Andrew, because I want you to close out the show. I will segue from that into the ladder challenge. We fired the first 2 bullets. I've called it. I'm just going to take kind of like the previous ladder challenge, which the initial plays were winning. We're just going to take plays that we like, and this is going to be my show best bet as well too. Up at WagerTalk, a 5% play in the NHL tonight. My weekend cards, NFL, I've got them loaded. I'm just going to finish off the analysis, and they'll be available. A couple best bets there, plus 118 units on in the NFL since 2022. That's 3 full seasons when I release a 4 or 5% play in the NFL, which is number 1 at WagerTalk. 3 years, and I've got 2 4% plays going this weekend. So head over to WagerTalk, maybe grab that 3-day all access, get all plays tomorrow and Sunday, and soccer in there as well too. As far as the best bet and the ladder challenge, Andrew, I am going to the Utah team total. Yes, the Utah hockey. The team total is 3.5 minus 135. We got Edmonton on there, so that's the wrong graphic, but it is Utah team total over 3.5, 135. There it is, minus 145 now because the price has gone up. Bet it at 135, but we'll post it at 145. Georgiev, we talked about him, Andrew. They've only led in 1 game. Any team that were Georgiev in goal this year has only led in 1 game after 20 minutes. But I'd like this better. 9 of the last 10 starts by Georgiev this season, and 16 of 24 games on the season, he's allowed 4 or more goals. The opposition has scored 4 or more goals. 9 of the last 10 times in goal, 4 or more goals. That includes empty netters, which, as far as team totals go, they count. So I'm taking the Utah team total tonight. 1 in 9 their last 10 games at home. What better way to get back into the win column than beating this San Jose team and Georgiev? What do you think, Andrew?
I love it. I love that play. And it's something that people do is that they'll look at a number like that and say, no way, Utah doesn't deserve to be laying that price. Well, I think in this game they do. And the first game back at home off a road trip was against Florida. So now the second game at home off a road trip it's a little bit of a different opponent. They go from playing Florida to San Jose, Carm. That's two different types of teams. So I like that one quite a bit. Guys, Carm has a 5% play tonight. You can buy that play, or you can go to his page and use Puck50 to take $50 off his 30-day NHL package. Carm's heating up in the NHL right now. Forget about buying one play. Get him for 30 days. Use that promo code, $50 off. Carm, it's the way people should go. You know, you're going to get all of your plays, not just that one play. But I think you can use that for the both of us as well. And that's what I'll recommend. You know, we're on a really good run right now. Like I said, it's been about a 70% run last 35 plays for me at WagerTalk. So really excited. Number one now, past Marco D'Angelo having a great NHL season. So past him, we're on the number one now. And my play of the day for the show is going to be the Canucks on the money line. Freaky Friday, we call it. So I got to pick an underdog. Plus 140 is a number that I locked in. I think the Canucks are live here. It's the first half of a back-to-back. Second game is going to be against Toronto, which will be very tough tomorrow. So this is going to be a game they're going to be very hungry in and want to get back on track with. I feel like we're getting a really good price here on the Canucks here against the Carolina Hurricanes, who are off a really good win last night. So I'll take the Canucks at plus 140 for my show play. And we are really, really looking forward to a great weekend, both Carmine and myself, not just in the NHL, but in the NFL as well. So you can find both of us over at WagerTalk.com. And we appreciate all of the love in the PuckTime comment section, on Twitter, across social media this week. We really do appreciate it. So guys, hit the like button on the way out. Wishing you all a very profitable weekend. Enjoy the games. Best of luck. And we'll see you on Monday right here on WagerTalk TV.